Sometime over the last week or so, you may have seen this screenshot floating around as it went viral. This is from a management lead at the company YesMadam, which is located in India. Essentially, this email says they sent out a survey to check what stress levels were at for their employees, and then they fired anybody who reported significant stress. Well, obviously, that fucking sucks. And it's really whack that they would do this, but there's more to this. See, really, that image is floating around without context, which nobody would have known if not for the fact that the company had to come out in the days after and apologize for what they called a guerrilla marketing stunt. Instead, what they were going for was an attempt to raise awareness for mental health, which I'm not really sure how that marketing stunt is supposed to do that, but they're claiming that it was actually part of an elaborate effort to raise awareness about workplace stress. Now, in the aftermath of this, I guess I can see how that would be the case. I think it's really fucking strange that they would make that decision in the first place, but it seems like it was misguided and not that this is an attempt to clean up after doing something heinous. Still, it's worth exploring. Before I get into my thoughts on that, though, let me just share these last little bits of information. The employees that were said to have been fired in the email were actually given a break to reset and encouraged to release their stress. YesMadam said that they want to create a corporate culture that proves strong businesses are built by happy employees. I agree with that last part, and I think that's a good philosophy to promote. I just have to wonder how this marketing stunt ever got through. How did anyone think that was a good idea? I mean, did they tell their employees that they were going to do that and then just send out the email to make it a marketing scheme? Or did they actually do a stress survey and then send this email telling them that they were fired and then say, psych, no, you're not fired. We're just doing a marketing stunt. We're trying to prove that y'all are so happy that that's why we do well, which is why we faked firing you. I want to believe that this is just misguided because that sits better with my gut. But it still speaks to a larger corporate and just general workplace problem and philosophy that simply unhappy workers are unhappy because of themselves, because of personal responsibility. And the company doesn't have any responsibility there. This company seems to be taking the opposite approach to that, as it initially alluded to. But again, I have to wonder whether that was the intended case in the first place. And this is in India again. But I wanted to talk about it because I think it's a good case for employment in general. Yes, they have different rules and regulations there, some of which I don't know, but I guess might have allowed something like a mass firing because employees are stressed. We can't do that. If a bunch of employees report that they're stressed and the company fires them, that's retaliatory firing. We have mechanisms in place to protect the employees for that. But the reason we have those mechanisms is because we've passed regulations to protect employees. Not enough, for sure, but some. But those exist because of regulations. Regulations, which are about to be slashed because the right wholeheartedly believes in eliminating regulations just because they're regulations. There's no other reason behind that than to protect businesses from having to take care of their employees, from having to give them health insurance, from having to give them reasonable benefits, from having to pay them enough to live. That's what regulations are for, and yet we're gonna get rid of them. So that's where we're at, and it's fucking scary. So this just kind of got my gears turning and made me think about workplace culture in America and the world. Do you guys have any examples of stuff that you've heard about here or elsewhere that fits into this whack narrative about companies doing misguided shit or actually doing evil shit? Because I'd like to talk about that. So let me know below. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.